Show up for work at 9 a.m., check social media for updates on friends, and start planning an early afternoon break to walk your dog. That's what I was thinking when my boss, Michael Frigale, walked in to tell me that Jerry West had just passed away. Better get to work, he said. It felt like a basketball had just crashed through my window. As the person responsible for writing obituaries in our department, I usually have some notes prepared for when a school's legendary figure passes away. This was the case with Hot Rod Hundley and Sam Huff, who had been in poor health before they died. But Jerry West, who always seemed so full of life and energy, it felt impossible. Where do you begin with someone who has achieved so much? How do you decide what to include and what to leave out? It's impossible to capture all of Jerry West's accomplishments from his 86 years in a short time. How can you convey what he meant to the people of this state and to those who cherish West Virginia University? Who do you talk to when he meant so much to so many? When unsure, the best place to start is at the beginning. For me, that meant diving into my file cabinet of interviews, including several with West himself. I had about half a dozen transcribed phone calls with him, each lasting 20 to 30 minutes. Some people give you only 10 or 15 minutes before they lose interest. I've had lower profile individuals cut interviews short, but not Jerry. He was always willing to spend as much time as needed to answer questions, especially about West Virginia, WVU, and his Mountaineer basketball teammates. I found that the best way to get interesting responses from Jerry was to ask about his friend Willie Akers or his classmates. I once asked him why there were so many outstanding basketball players in West Virginia in the mid-1950s when he played at East Bank High. I shared a story Eddie Barrett had told me about Virginia Tech coach Chuck No noticed that Virginia high school game scores were in the 40s and 50s, while West Virginia scores were in the 80s and 90s, prompting him to recruit West Virginia players. That story got Jerry talking. We played the Kentucky All-Star team, and they were supposed to have the best players in America, he recalled. But we had better players. We played them twice and beat them both times. We had a very high-caliber group of guys in West Virginia then. The style of play was a big part of it, West explained. Coaches in some areas were more restrictive. Most coaches inherit their philosophy from those they played for. When I was being recruited, Maryland played a very slow game, which I didn't enjoy. I couldn't see myself playing that way. At that time, WVU coach Fred Schaus had recently retired from professional basketball. With assistant coach George King, they were young and athletic enough to actively coach and teach the players. King, who played on an NBA championship team, often played against the team in practice. West recalled those experiences fondly. Maybe I gained confidence because I played against George King, he noted. He was experienced and smart, and I found out I could hold my own. It wasn't embarrassing for me. It was a great learning environment. We engaged with people who had played at a higher level than we had. Team building was key to Schaus and King's success, something Jerry learned well in his career. The great things West achieved later with the Lakers, Grizzlies, Warriors, and Clippers as an executive had their roots in those well-rounded WVU basketball teams of the late 1950s. Schaus convinced Akers that he was better off playing with Jerry West at WVU than being a leading scorer at Virginia Tech or Wake Forest. Willie Akers had a simple desire when he chose WVU. I wanted to win, he said. So, he teamed up with Lloyd Sherrar, Bobby Joe Smith, and Jim Ritchie to grab rebounds and play defense, while guards Jody Gardner, Don Vincent, Bucky Balliard, Ronnie Retton, and Lee Petroni handled the ball. Jerry made the tough shots and rose to the occasion. Every player on that team was driven. We were very competitive kids, West recalled. Fun-loving, but very competitive. They were great people, and for someone as quiet and serious as me, they helped me come out of my shell a bit. I saw Jerry West's serious side firsthand when we both spoke at an event in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Jerry was promoting his new book, and I had just written Roll Out the Carpet. I was supposed to warm up the crowd before Jerry took the stage. After sharing some funny stories, I headed back to the green room. There, I crossed paths with West. I greeted him casually, but he was already focused on his upcoming talk, looking like a prizefighter ready for the ring. His book was personal and revealing, and he was about to face some tough questions. It was then I realized the difference between ordinary and elite individuals. Jerry West was elite. He was the person we West Virginians aspired to be, and he understood the heavy responsibilities that came with that. For everyone reading this in the Mountain State and beyond, study Jerry West's life. Learn how he treated others with empathy, dignity, and respect. Notice how he honored his commitments and conducted himself professionally. The blueprint for a successful life is in Jerry West's story, the successes, failures, good times, and heartaches, all intertwined. He embodied the values we West Virginians hold dear, which is why it's so hard to say goodbye. Lower your West Virginia flags until after West Virginia Day on June 20th in honor of Jerry West. There will never be another like him.